Being part of a camp and knowing what your role is within that camp is critical to succeeding in life after. You will not succeed at the game if you are not part of a camp, and your camp will not succeed if you do not know the things that you need to do to help your camp function. Today I'm going to give you guys 48 tips and tricks as I go through the 10 things that every camp member should do to help their camp succeed. The first thing is to find a good camp. Being part of a bad camp will often force you to do a lot of extra work due to inactive campmates or mismanaged taxes. So my first recommendation is to join the LifeAfter official Discord, where they have created an awesome system for finding other players to create a camp. I would recommend joining that Discord even if you are already part of a camp, because the devs use it for announcements and giveaways, but it is especially important if you want to find a good camp. I put a link to their Discord in the pinned post and description of this video. Regardless of whether or not you use Discord, I would recommend using a custom message when you apply for a camp. As the mayor of my camp, I get dozens of generic applications every day, so I'm a lot less likely to accept one of those applications. I recommend mentioning that you are an active player, if you are, and your profession. If you don't know why your profession is so important to a camp, I would suggest checking out my video explaining the 9 professions. And then if you are already part of a bad camp, then you can leave that camp by going up these stairs and talking to this NPC. The second thing you should do to help your camp is contribute to the camp meal twice a day. A lot of camp members neglect to do this because they don't realize how important it is. The camp meal doesn't just feed you, it gives you an incredible 6-hour buff. The basic meal gives you a 4% increase in gathering efficiency. The medium one bumps that up to 5% and gives you 5% bonus damage to buildings. And then the best meal bumps up gathering to 6% and adds a 5% damage reduction buff. These buffs stack with all other buffs, making them a big deal. So I recommend that a camp tries to get that top tier buff at least once a day. In order to do this, you will need 33% of your camp members to give 3 blue raw food items. This is not difficult to do. My favorite item to donate is red tilapia because you get a ton of them at the camp pond and their cooking attributes aren't nearly as good as the pufferfish. The third thing you should do to help your camp is donate to the vault. If you visit the camp vault, you will see the resources needed for that day, and then if you click the resource tab, you will see the resources required to advance to the next camp period. You can donate these resources by bringing them with you and then double clicking on them here. This will give you camp contribution points, which become increasingly more valuable the higher level you get. So you want to make sure that you hit the 2,000 point max every week, even if that means dumping extra items into the vault right before the reset on Sunday. You can also do this with prepared food to increase your camp's food supplies, but you cannot donate wood, stone, and hemp. So if your camp needs more of those resources, I recommend referring your camp leader to my video on how to do research and stay rich. That video will also show your camp leader that it is more beneficial to keep your tax rate low, so I highly recommend showing it to him. The only modification I've made since making that video is that we now do tax hours 2 times a day instead of a full tax day once a week. After that, it's good to check out the benefits box. It doesn't help your camp by collecting it, but it's a great way to get high-level resources, especially if your camp is a trade city for that day, because the mayor can set up an even better reward for all players. I set up really good rewards when we are the trade city, so if you see JCF as one of the trade cities, you might want to do your shopping there. The fourth thing that you should do to help your camp is contribute your tech points to your camp's research. When you access this panel, you will see 3 categories. You have the freedom to research anything you want, but I would recommend going with the mayor's recommendation because that will focus your camp's efforts. The best way to get tech points is by crafting items in your workbenches, but tending your garden and using the benefit box is helpful as well. If you have already reached your max for that day, I recommend keeping items in your workbenches so that you can get some easy points on the days that you aren't able to play as much. As the mayor, I get extra tech points from using the technology's gourmet charm and enhanced export, but I only get those extra tech points if my campmates contribute food or sell weapons and armor. The fifth thing that you should do to help your camp is participate in the daily patrol quest. Patrol quests are super easy and give really good rewards, but in addition to this, completing patrol quests is one of the fastest ways for a camp to increase its management stats. Camps can then use those management points for things like becoming a trade city, which further increases their prosperity rating. The hard patrol quest is not hard, so even if you're by yourself because you're the last one to do it, you should still choose the hard option. In order to do this, ask your campmates that have already done it to join your team so that you can start the quest and then they can leave and you can still complete it like normal. When doing the quest with your friends, you do not all have to go to every location. So for example, you can see here that when Dr. Cheapo kills the Imperial soldier by himself, it gives credit to everyone else on the team that is on the same quest. This makes it really important to stay on the same objective, so if you're doing a clock-in objective, make sure your whole team clocks in before you start completing the next set of objectives. This is also true of eating and gardening quests. When doing those quests, it is important to note that you can see which campmates have food on their tables or gardening that needs to be done by looking for these symbols on your map. This brings us to the sixth thing that you should do to help your camp. As your camp prosperity grows, your mayor will be able to unlock territory quests. Completing these quests will unlock more houses on the main island, which can be purchased by citizens that have been given honorary status. This is a very desired status, but what a lot of camp members don't realize is that even if you unlock all of the sections, only half of your campmates can get honorary status. So if you've been given an honorary status, it is important to keep your garden active and food on a table that is accessible to your campmates. In fact, since I have a high level bed which restores 60 durability, I leave my door unlocked so that campmates can come use my bed after they've used theirs for that last 10 to 20 durability. The seventh thing that you should do to help your camp is participate in the zombie invasion events on Wednesdays and Saturdays. If your house is chosen as one of the houses that will be invaded, then you will find extra defenses in your inbox. Set those up immediately so that you will be ready when the time comes. If your house is not on the main island and you cannot defend it by yourself, then you should request help as soon as the event starts, because your campmates can't see that your base is being invaded. But when someone requests for help, it provides a link that will automatically transport them to that house. After all the houses have been defended, you are given some time to move to the downtown stage of the invasion. This is the most important stage for everyone to work together, since your camp needs to defend all 5 entrances at the same time. This usually requires splitting up your best players among the different entrances. If you find yourself in a section that is too strong, you can see which entrance is struggling by going to your minimap and seeing which red hand disappears last. After the waves start, ammo boxes will appear in the middle of the town, which is a great way to get a free reload on all your guns, but keep in mind that you need to switch between your guns if you want to reload more than one. You will also see that the camp is given defenses, but it is very important to try to not use these defenses. Making sure your campmates stand in front of these defenses during the waves will more than double your chances of making it to the end. Some of your best players might argue with you that it is best for them to stay in one of the stands because they can cover multiple entrances, and while it will make them do more damage as an individual, it will significantly decrease how fast your camp is able to finish the waves. In fact, I asked my campmates to stand at the gates so that we can kill the zombies as soon as they spawn, because the faster you kill all the zombies, the higher the rank you get as a camp. The eighth thing that you should do to help your camp is participate in the boss fight event on Sundays. You should want to participate in this event anyways because it offers really good rewards and it's the best place to get combat experience, but it also helps your camp's rank. I already covered this event some in my main video for this game, but I forgot to mention that the main thing you need to focus on during this event is this little bar here. When the bar reaches the top, you want to make sure that you are on one of these stands. The boss will destroy these stands, so I recommend designating 1 or 2 of your low-level campmates to set up these stands throughout the event so that your high-level players can focus on doing damage. The ninth thing that you should do to help your camp is be on the lookout for intruders. If you see someone moving around that doesn't have big green letters over their head, then they are an intruder and you should kill them as quickly as possible. Now, in the case that they are higher level than you, approaching one of these towers will allow you to sound the camp alarm, which will notify your camp and show them on the map if they are still visible to you. Occasionally, you will get a notification that your camp vault is being decoded. If you are online when you get that notification, immediately travel to the camp vault. Most of the time, they are still hanging around, which makes for an easy kill. And then if you don't see them, this is another good time to sound the alarm. If your camp has the no-fly zone tech enabled, then they won't be able to leave for 60 seconds, which should be enough time for your camp to guard all of the exits so that they have no way to escape. And then as your camp grows, the last thing you should do to help your camp is participate in the Charlestown Wars. I have lots of tips and tricks for Charlestown, but it is such a big subject that I will have to make a video completely dedicated to just that. In the meantime, if you want to watch a compelling story of a camp that starts out not even ranked, but then ends up growing to be one of the top 20 camps, then make sure to watch my live stream series, which I do on my other YouTube channel. Well, that's it guys, hope that helps. Remember that YouTube does not pay a whole lot, so liking, subscribing, or supporting me on Patreon are all ways that you can help me create more high quality videos for you guys. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.